I see some of you all are coming on the screen right now. My question is, when was the last time you went on a personal retreat and took some time for yourself? Even if that retreat was just for a day or two, when was the last time you actually got away and just took a little bit of time for yourself? When I went live the other day, I think the message was on dealing with being lonely and dealing with just the insecurities. And when I ended the live, one of the first things that came to mind is I said, oh my goodness, I forgot to actually turn to one of the passages I wanted to turn to, which is Isaiah 40 and 41. And then I thought to myself, I forgot to mention to them about the importance of going on a retreat. So I want to know, when was the last time? Let me ask this question first. How much time are you spending actually resting? And let's answer that idea honestly. How much time are you actually spending resting? And I don't mean necessarily hours of sleep, but I'm talking where you really get some good rest and you feel recuperated. How much time are you guys spending resting? I apologize if you all are having a hard time seeing the comments on this one, because I notice I'm wearing my white shirt and it's a little bit harder reading the comments here. Someone says, good question. Cheryl says, none. Someone is saying, good evening. Someone says, it's been a long time. How much time are you guys actually spending resting? I've got maybe a max of about 25, 30 minutes that I can spend on this because at 6 p.m. Is when I have my I'm meeting all of the new people that recently joined my mentorship, and all of them are going through a 12-week retreat right now. So I'm actually going to be meeting them on a live Zoom call in literally just a little bit. So I thought, let me just go live a little bit earlier just on this platform so I can talk to you all. But how much time are you spending resting? Okay, I see someone saying rarely ever. I see someone saying it's been a while, overwhelmed with health and finances. I can't pronounce your name, baby. I'm going to say Tess. Tess says I need to relax and let go and let God. I'm glad you just said that, because that's what I'm about to talk about in these next 25 or so minutes. Someone says, what a coincidence. And I'm having a hard time reading this screen because, again, I'm in a white shirt. But it says, it looks like it says, how are you? So do I. So how much time are you spending rest? So now the next question with that is, when was the last time you actually went on a personal retreat? Whether you got away for a few days, maybe it's only been a day or two, hopefully you're able to get away longer than that. Or when was the last time you've been inside of any type of a retreat? In any type of a program of any kind. It could be through your church, your counseling service, your anything, an organization or what have you. When was the last time you actually got away on a retreat? And I'll tell you why I'm asking that question, because I'm going to base this whole conversation on spending time dwelling in the secret place. And I'm going to walk through a little bit about, I prayed for a while before going live, probably at least a good 30 minutes to, if not longer, probably almost an hour, asking God, is there anything that you want me to talk to your babies about as I'm getting prepared for my Zoom call with those in my mentorship? And it never fails. Whatever I'm going through, you guys seem to be going through. So you guys always say, Z, it's a coincidence when you come on here and you talk to us. I keep telling you guys, I talk about what I go through. You just happens to relate to it. And so we just happens to, all be on the same page, because I'm not perfect. I mess up a lot, you guys. I don't have like an off switch, and for many of you all, I've said before, I've been working since I was 13 years old, and I'm well in my 50s. And I'm a mother of 4 kids. They're all adults now, with the exception of the one son I lost, but they're all adults. So my entire life, especially because of how I grew up, I've always worked, always, always, always. So sometimes I have to sit my butt down like I did last night up until like 1 in the morning, just me and God. This is going to sound weird to you all. So I hope no one takes this the wrong way, but I guess it doesn't matter. If you do, you do, because you got to know something about King David to understand what I'm about to say to you. But I was up till about 1 in the morning and just talking with God and worshiping with God and dancing with God. Sometimes I'll say, Jesus, just dance with me. And I'll play my favorite gospel songs, and I literally would just be dancing around in the room. And it's as if I can feel his presence with me, just dancing. And I know it sounds a little weird, but sometimes I'll say, maybe I shouldn't be sharing this. Sometimes I talk to you guys and I'm just kind of saying everything, and maybe some things, I need to filter how I'm saying it because, I talk to you all as though we're just family and we're just friends sitting together. But I literally sometimes will say, don't be stiff. Come on now, dance with me. Just having that intimate relationship with him. Right. So sometimes a personal retreat can just be that small amount of time that you get for a couple hours in the evening. But I want to ask the question. I know I went left field and I'm coming back. When was the last time you went on any kind of a retreat? Now, when you answer that question, I want you to, someone says, that's not weird. That's your intimacy time with the Lord. Thank you for saying that. There are some people that, I won't go into it, but everyone has their way of doing things. And some people think that, may be not the wisest thing to say that you're dancing with the Lord, but I do it all the time and I love every minute of it. So let's get the questions answered here. When was the last time you went on a retreat? And now when you answer that question, I want to know how long was it? So let me see some of your answers here. So someone says, I've never been on a retreat. My God. Someone says, what do you mean retreat? Retreat is any kind of a getaway, whether it's a couple days, a week. For some of you, it may be, a half a day each day for a whole week. Or, for some of you, it may be as simple as a couple hours a day. Consistently, you've got a plan in place. This is my time, me and the Lord, I'm getting away. Sometimes you can go on what's called like I've gone on many women's retreats, through my church or what have you. But just a retreat where you're able to just get away and sit and dwell in the presence of God. When was the last time you've done that? I want to see where this group is at before I go on with my point I want to make. I have one coming up in August with my women's group. That's good. That's good. But when was the last time? So I have to pull away faithful. But I'm doing it now self-daily. Okay, you're touching on something I'm going to talk about. Oh, baby, one person said it's been 6 years. My God. Shardy says last retreat was 2 years ago. Mary says, thank you, Sister Z. Someone says, what was the question? I just logged in. So the question is, when was the last time you went on a retreat? When was the last time you actually took some time to rest and just get away? And even if you couldn't get away, maybe it was an online retreat or whatever it is, but the whole focus of it is, this is time set aside just for me. When was the last time? Someone says, never done it before, but I'd love to. My goodness. Antonia says, yes, that's how I felt last year. My sister and I went to a beautiful place called Bridge Between the World for 4 days as a cottage in the woods, just us and God. It was so spirit-filled. Oh, that sounds lovely. That sounds absolutely amazing. Latina says, never. Mary says, a few years. Trash says, I don't ever. So for those who are joining, that's my question. And I'll let you know why I got to this question. I'm having a 6 o'clock Zoom meeting in less than 40 minutes. In my mentorship group at Unlocking Greatness, everyone goes on a 12-week retreat when you join. It's automatically included in the program. And a lady, I screenshot it, but now that I got my phone up, I can't even read it. And I'm sure she's on this live listening. But she posted a really long comment inside of my retreat. I think she's on maybe week 4 or so, because it's a 12-week retreat. And she said, Z, each week in this retreat is so filled with treasures. It's just unreal how you're walking us through your book Necessary, but all of these hidden gems and treasures behind it, because I walk them through these mindset exercises they've got to do and give them time to sit and reflect on things. And she wrote this long paragraph about how her life is just changing, and she's sharing it with her niece and other people. I hope she comments on here if she's on this live. That's actually what made me think through, you know what? I wonder how many people out there in the world are really even taking some time to have any kind of a retreat. Any kind of a retreat. Any kind of a retreat. So let me just read some more questions. Someone says, I've never been on a retreat before. So let me go into this passage real quick. I'm going to talk to you all. Now, I really do have a hard stop. I'm going to be stopping at about 5:40-ish, because at 6 o'clock, I'm meeting all of the new people that join my retreat. Well, it's actually, I call it a mentorship program, but it's really ongoing, like it's almost like an extended retreat. That's probably the better way of putting it, where we get together, we have amazing Zoom sessions together. I get to meet everyone. We all come together as a community, and everyone goes through a 12-week retreat based on my book Necessary. And it's not just sitting and reading through the book Necessary. It's a lot deeper than that. It just kind of goes behind the scenes. But anyway, I'm meeting with all the new people that just joined this week. We're meeting at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time on a Zoom call. And for those of you, if you're interested, I would absolutely love to see you in a little bit on that Zoom call. You can go to unlockinggreatness.com and just sign up, and I'll be seeing you in just a little bit if you choose to do that. But let me get to the point. It's so important that we learn how to dwell in the secret place. because that's where the mysteries are revealed, you guys. That's where our answers come from. Did you know, and I didn't know this, nobody ever really told me. Did you know you can get a lot more done if you slow down and be still and get some divine direction before you start running in 10 different places? Did you know that? Did you know that if you just slow down, and if you and whether you go on a retreat or not, or I'm going to give you guys an example of something that you can do, sort of like a mini retreat. I'll talk about that in about 5 minutes. But did you know if you just slow down and you go to where the mysteries are revealed, do you know that you can get more done? You can actually go a lot faster and get a whole lot more done. And you won't be running around in circles because you're getting that divine wisdom and insight. Does that make sense? Every single major thing that I've done, I say major things, I've done a lot of smaller, minor things, but every single major thing, it came in the spirit from dwelling in that secret place. And for those of you who are saying, Z, it's just been so difficult. I saw a couple people, at least on this live right here, say that I've just been worried, about the pressures with finances and everything going on. Please don't think that I don't understand. But what I'm trying to tell you is when I tried figuring it out on my own, that's when I began to have so many worries and stresses on my place. When you dwell and you sit in that secret place, and I'm not saying it magically appears and your answer comes to you day one, but I'm letting you all know this is a secret that I never learned. I had to walk through it and live through it to realize that, oh my goodness, this is where the map is at. This is where the map is. This is where the peace comes from. You all know the fruit of the Spirit. Read Galatians 5, start in verse 21 or 22, somewhere up in there. And you'll see the fruit of the Spirit. And it talks about love and joy and peace and all of that, right? This is where the fruit comes from. Let's look at Psalm 91. I'm going to talk just a little faster than I normally would because, as I said before, at 6 p.m. on the dot, I'm going to be on a live Zoom call with all of the newer members that actually just joined my retreat or my mentorship program. And I'm meeting all the new members that joined this week. We're meeting at 6. Psalm 91. Turn there real quickly. Psalm 91 teaches us, he who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. He who dwells, you guys catching that? In the shelter of the Most High. It says he will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. And it goes on to talk about he will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and your rampart. And it goes on to say, you will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrows that fly by day. Now, let's just pause a moment. I like when I'm reading a passage just to marinate on it for a minute. So it's giving you all the benefits of his faithfulness is going to be your shield and rampart. That means your front and your back end. It talks about you're not going to fear the terror of the night. Okay. It says, nor the arrows that fly by day. And then it's talking about nor the pestilence that stalks in darkness. Then it's talking about nor the plague that destroys at midday. And then it goes on to say 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 may fall at your right, but none of it's going to come near you. You're only going to observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked, right? But what is what is the passage referring to? It's going all the way back to verse 1. All the way back to verse 1. So let's go back to verse 1. Verse 1 says, he who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Doesn't that seem a little bit like sitting still? Hang on one second, you guys. Every blue moon, as I said before, you get someone on the assignment and you just have to remove someone from your platform. And it's okay. You have people that are on assignments. That's just what they're sent to do. Whenever God is trying to do something good, you got to remember that that's what happens. The evil one always shows up and tries to distract things. But I just got rid of that. Say, he who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Doesn't that seem like sitting still, you guys? Does that seem like sitting still? Oh, hey, Leonard. I see Leonard's on here. I have some relatives and people on here. That seems like sitting still with him, doesn't it? He who dwells. That's the part we seem to forget. Remember I told you all a long time ago that it's almost as if, remember I said, imagine if a treasure chest was in your backyard right? And how long would it take for you to go out there and be digging all day to try to look up that treasure chest? Well, what if there was a map that you had, and all you had to do was read that map to know the direction to go? Now, I don't want to minimize this down to try to make this about money or finances, because that really would be watering down the Word of God. But I'm just trying to make a point. This is the blueprint, you guys, right here. This is why I'm so in love with it. This is why I don't have much time to watch television. I probably in a month maybe watch 30 minutes of TV, if that, and that's probably being generous, right? This is why. Because I'm looking at this map, I'm examining. I'm examining. So what does it mean to dwell in the shelter of the Most High? Constantly trying to get on this retreat, trying to get away with him. Does that make sense? Now, for the new people just joining, I want to ask this question one more time. When was the last time you went on a personal retreat? And how much time are you spending actually resting and taking care of yourselves, baby? You guys, we're running all over the place. Myself included sometimes. I get it. Like I said, I don't have an off switch. I've been working my entire life, right? Right? And I have to remind myself, or I should say God reminds me, it's time to rest. You got to sit in my presence. Now, I spend a lot of time in the evenings, right? Especially in my closet, just sitting with them. But how is your resting going, resting in the presence of God, the one who has all the answers? Because without that, let me just speak for myself. Without that, I'm anxious. I'm worried. I don't sleep well at night. I'm all over the place trying to figure out things on my own, overworking, overdoing things. That's who I am when I'm not resting in his presence, right? Because I don't have the blueprint. I don't have the map. I'm running around all over the place trying to figure it out. And then I'm not settled in my spirit. So I'm anxious. I'm quick to get upset about things, right? I'm trying to control all the little things I can control. Thank you, baby, for the hearts and the gifts. Thank you. That's who I am when I'm not resting in his presence. Does that make sense? So that's why it's important that we have these little retreats. Now, some of you understand are in situations where you actually really just can't get out and get on a retreat. I get that. But you don't have to actually get out and get on a retreat. You can do something online. You can do something through your local church or program. Talk to your ministers or what have you. I have a 12-week retreat called Necessary. It's based on my book, Necessary. I'm going to be meeting with all of them in less than 30 minutes, right? Do something to get away for a little bit. Even if it's a daily thing, and here's what I want to talk to you all about. Let me go to this other passage first, and then I'm going to give you guys something I want you to do, because I'm watching this time closely because I can't be on this live too long. I want you all to turn over to Isaiah 40 really quickly. Turn over to Isaiah 40. You're welcome, baby. Someone is saying, thank you, God, for your answer. Thank you. You're welcome. So someone says, yes, I'm learning how to rest. God told me to be silent. Yes. And you'll find that you're going to be able to go a whole lot faster when you take some time to rest too, baby. Go to Isaiah 40 really quickly. And please don't think I'm excusing myself from this. You guys know I mess up on a good day. I tell you that all the time. Don't place me on a pedestal. Don't do that. A lot of my lives and things I talk about, my book Necessary, even my retreat, that entire 12-week program, is because I lived through all the mess. So I'm just trying to help you avoid some of the same mistakes I've made. And what I'm saying to you all is, when I'm not rested, when I'm not sitting in his presence, getting that download, you know what I'm saying? Getting the mysteries that are revealed in the spirit, right? Getting that instruction. Just like God told me the other week, I'm going to have you start a global book club. I says, really, God? I don't know if you all know, I announced that the other day. You can sign up for the book club on my website at unlockinggreatness.com. There's a link there that says join book club. That's a whole nother subject, and it's free to join the book club, by the way. But I didn't come up with that. I'm sitting with him and I'm resting with him. I'm saying, God, tell me, how do I work in partnership with you? How do I lift you and how do I help your babies? What do you want me to do? And then he put in my spirit, now you're going to take this book globally. You're going to start a book club. I want people all over the world reading this. How am I going to do that, God? He's like, I'm going to instruct you along the way. You see that blueprint? And I didn't actually think about that. I mean, a number of people had said in the past about Z starting a book club, but it wasn't until it was revealed to me in the spirit that I then acted up on it. And that's what I want for you all, is I want you to get in the spirit first, what belongs to you. Then you become it, and you go out there and get what already belongs to you. The issue is, and I'm speaking from my own mistakes, you all, I've always tried to go out there and get in the physical first, what I need. And I'm praying a little bit, and going to church and doing what we normally do, right? But not really getting it in the spirit first, just trying to figure out some things, right? And when I've done it that way, learn from my mistakes, you guys. When I've done it that way, the results were always minimum. I was always getting frustrated. I was always stressed and overtired. I'm letting you guys know. Anytime I did it the backwards way, when I'm focused on the circumstances and I'm running after all the issues and all throughout the day, that's all I'm thinking about. Now, those who are inside of my mentorship program, you guys already know we talk quite a bit about the importance of your thoughts. Remember, we talked about that. I even gave you all that quote. I think it was by Emerson, who said, "You become what you think about all day long." And we've been talking about that, getting your finally statement together and focusing every single day, morning, noon, and evening, on the person you're becoming. But let me get past that real quick. The point I'm getting at is that when you spend that time dwelling in his presence, we just read that passage real quick, and you get that download, and the mysteries are revealed, right? And then you're focusing on becoming that person before you step out on that platform to go get what you think is yours. Then you'll be able to walk with that boldness and that confidence and that peace that you need. Does that make sense? That's why it's important that we dwell with him. And that's why I love Psalm 1, verse 1 through 3 so much. I've quoted that so many times, it's not even funny. Someone says, yes, let me know I need to read. God told me to read. Amen, baby. But that's why I love Psalm 1, 1 through 3 so much, because Psalm 1, 1 through 3 teaches us, to the person that meditates on his law day and night. And it talks about how he'll be like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields his fruit in due season, his leaves do not wither. And I love the last part of that verse, which teaches us, whatsoever he doeth, he shall prosper. I had such a big problem with that, because I'm like, it's impossible for whatsoever he doeth, he should prosper. But then I learned, I'm tapping up on something really important, a very important biblical principle. And all throughout the Bible, and I've told you guys before, the Bible is a series of principles and patterns, right? It teaches us, when we dwell with him, when we dwell in his presence, when we run to that secret place, when you get on your personal retreats, which is why I asked that question, right? You're going to get that download and that guidance that you need. And when that download and that guidance comes from God and we walk in obedience, you can't help but be prosperous in whatever he tells you to do. Does that make sense, you all? Let me read this passage, Isaiah 40. I really got to go. I got to jump off of this. Isaiah chapter 40. You guys, I want you to read it on your own. Isaiah 40 and 41. I'm just going to read through a little bit really quickly. But Isaiah chapter 40, this is comfort for God's people. I love in verse 28. It says, do you not know, have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary. In his misunderstanding, no one can fathom. Now listen to this. He gives strength to the weary. That's interesting. And he increases the power of the weak. Vicky says, Z, I'm learning to sit quietly and listen for his directions. Amen, Vicky. That's the way to go. And when he tells you to go, the important thing is get up and go do what he tells you to do. Because I did do a live on that the other day called The World is Waiting on You. Because some of you all have already gotten the download and you guys are moving super slow and putting your toe in the water when you need to jump on in. That's a whole nother subject, but I'm glad to see you doing that, baby. So Isaiah chapter 40 says he gives strength to the weary and he increases the power of the weak. And I love how in verse 31 it says, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not grow faint. And then turn on over to the next one in Isaiah 41. I'll jump to verse 10 just for the sake of time. It says, so do not fear, for I'm with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. I love when I pray to God and I says, God, extend your mighty righteous right arm, right? He says, I'll uphold you with my righteous right hand. And then he just goes on to, down in verse 13 or so, and he says, so do not fear, for I will help you. That's why it's important that we dwell in his presence. When we start, I've got to get off of this live, you guys, in just a couple minutes. When we start going through Necessary Together, and for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I'm officially starting a national book club. It's going to be a global book club. We're going to be coming together on a live like this, not on a Zoom call, but just like this. And we're going to be walking through my book, Necessary. On my site, there's a link called Join Book Club. You can go there and just put in your email address. I can let you know when we're having our first meeting. But if I had time right now, I wanted to read through a little bit from The Secret Place. And The Secret Place is one of the first chapters that I may start in, because it's important that we learn how to start dwelling in that secret place. And what does that even look like? So let me give you guys just a practical example. You can take this with you, because I got to get off of this live. I got to meet some people. I want you all to commit to 15 minutes a day in the morning. And 15, someone says, what's the site again for tonight's retreat? My site is unlockinggreatness.com. The links are in all of my bios. And if you decide to get on there and join, I literally will see you in less than 20 minutes on a Zoom call. I take some time to meet all the new people, to talk to them and see how they're doing, and just what is your goal this whole year. We're focusing on mastery, just so you know. And so it's just a phenomenal program with people from all around the world. So anyway, this is the time when I come together to meet all the new people, and we're going to be on a Zoom call, and it's always a phenomenal call. And once you get in there, a 12-week retreat is what everybody, I shouldn't say is required. I highly recommend. Soon as you join and get in there, start going through my 12-week retreat, and make sure you attend the Zoom calls that we have. So let me, and again, that's unlockinggreatness.com. Let me give you guys a challenge. 15 minutes a day in the morning, 15 minutes a day in the evening. I want you to go on a personal retreat. So write that down. So for 15 minutes, at least 15 minutes, I should say, at least. Now, my retreat's longer than that because mine's for 12 weeks, and you're going to be spending a couple hours a week just going through the lesson, watching the videos, doing the mindset exercises. It is a whole program that walks you through from figuring out who you are to learning what to let go of, and it goes on to talk about growing and walking in mastery. But just for the sake of this format, for those of you who are not a part of a retreat or not able to join, 15 minutes a day I want you to commit to going on a personal retreat. And you get to make that look like whatever you want. That could be sitting down and praying for 15 minutes. That could be sitting in silence. I go in my closet. I know that sounds weird, but that's what I do. That could be, listen to this, that could just be listening to worship songs where you're just sitting down and getting your thoughts together before you even begin your day, right? Sometimes what I do before my feet even hit the floor, before I get out of bed, I sit there, like at least for a while actually, I just sit there and I just have like this, almost like this communion with God. I just sit with him for a while, right? Now I have a whole routine that I do in the morning, whole routine at night. You guys may say, Z, you way overdo it. Like it don't call for all of that, spending hours a day, every day. But without going into much detail, and I don't want to go into this now because it'll take too long to explain, it's very important that you know your ranking in the spirit. And it's very important that you guard that time. And it's very important that you spend as much time as you can and you dwell with God and you build capacity in the spirit. Because as he begins to grow you and show you who you are, you guys got to understand the amount of opposition that will come your way is unreal. You have no idea. No idea. I think the people in my mentorship group have an idea because I talk to them. We're very transparent in those meetings, just so you know. But there are certain people that have an idea of some of the things that come at me on a daily basis that tries to prevent me from doing what I'm doing, which is just simply trying to encourage people. My point I'm trying to make is you don't have to do the extreme of what I do, because I know many of you say you just way overdo it. It doesn't take all of that. But at least start somewhere. So my challenge to you all is this: 15 minutes a day. Can you do your own personal retreat? If you don't want to get in some retreat program, whether it's mine or one in your ministry or your local congregation or counseling, I don't know, some Women's Day something, at least commit to 15 minutes a day in the morning and in the evening, just for this week. Because I'm going to come back next week and we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to ask you guys, how did it go? I want you to see the difference it makes in your life when you sit and you dwell in his presence. 15 minutes, just do that in the morning. 15 minutes in the evening. So what I want to know, and I got to get off this live, I want to know who is willing. Someone says, you're amazing. My heart is crying. This is good for me. Amen. I'm glad this is encouraging you. Who is willing to commit to, I'm going to go on my own personal retreat, at least 15 minutes in the morning, starting tomorrow. And I'm just going to be sitting still with God. I don't care if you just sitting still and you crying your heart out. I done been through so much. If you guys read my book, Necessary, you already know, where there was times that I ain't even want God to touch me, especially after my son died. I loved him, you know. I still believed in him, but I didn't even want him to touch me. But I was able to sit and just let him hold me. That's a whole nother subject I won't get into right now. So it doesn't matter if you're going to be praying, if you're going to be worshiping, if you're going to be just sitting silently with him or speaking with him. But 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night before you go to bed. What I'm trying to teach you guys in this little bit of time, this little bit of time, I'm trying to teach you what I actually teach in my mentorship program. And and by the way, for those of you who are in my mentorship, please make sure you be on the live in the next 15 minutes. And the next meeting we have, You guys, we're going to go deeper into what I'm about to tell them now. But I'm trying to get you guys to create a pattern in the spirit. It's called creating a spiritual pattern, where every single day, you've got a pattern that's happening in the spirit that won't be broken. So if you can just commit to 50, if you say, Z, I can't even do 15 minutes. Okay, do 5 minutes then, right? If you can't do 15, can you commit to 5? I want you to create a pattern in the spirit where you're going on a personal retreat, where you're dwelling in his presence, whatever that looks like to you, whatever that looks like to you. Someone says, just placed in my notes and placed a reminder in. Thank you, Z. Thank you, baby. Whatever that looks like to you. Now, for those who are in here that are part of my mentorship, you guys are already doing that. Plus, I have go to that challenge area inside of the platform. You guys already see I have you guys going on a challenge to get that up to an hour. But this is for people that are not in my mentorship. I'm just trying to help them right now. So anyway, for the rest of you all, 15 minutes a day. Who's willing to commit to that? And I've really got to get off of this live. Adalia says, yeah. Adalia, you already know this. Okay. I'm willing to do the 15-minute in the morning, 15-minute at night. Wonderful, Vicky. Who else is willing to do that? 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. Who else before I get off of this live? Okay, I'm seeing a yes from someone else here. I'm seeing another yes. I see Mary says she's going to do it. Cheryl says she's going to do it. So if God doesn't lie, and he's teaching us that this is my word, this is the result of dwelling in my presence. All I'm asking you to do is put some pressure on his integrity and see what's going to happen when you dwell in his presence. Baby, I'm telling you from experience. It fills my heart to be able to share this with you. I don't have all the answers. I tell people that even in my mentorship. I'm like, I don't have all the answers to all you guys' issues, but I know where to send you to go. I'm telling you. God honors his word. And no matter who you are, I was talking to a young man at church today. I won't go into detail with his business or whatever, because a lot of people have been through some things and feel like they just don't did so much. Like, I don't even know if he want to use me. Baby, don't you be believing that lie. Don't you be believing that lie. God specializes in using messed up people just like me. He specializes in using messed up people. I did a whole podcast on that. Go to my YouTube channel. You'll be able to find it. He specializes in using messed up people. And if you understand and get into the word of God, you'll be able to see all the things he's done with people that messed up a lot. I'm talking King David. I'm talking Moses. I'm talking Elijah, Abraham, the Apostle Paul, Peter. Don't get me into every last one of them. I'm like, why did he pick them? He specializes in using messed up people. So don't believe the lie when the enemy tries to tell you you can't go in his presence. Oh, I wish I had more time with you guys. I got to go. Read the story of the prodigal son. Oh, I love that story so much. I emceed a Women's Day event yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was Saturday, right? And I spoke on this just a little bit at that conference about how, because there were some people there feeling like they've just drifted so far, they don't know if they can run back to God. They don't even know what to say. And my response when I was speaking to them is I said, think about the prodigal son. He went off and messed up everything, right? What was the response from the father when he saw his son trying to come near him? Can you imagine how God must feel when he sees his children out here and we don't messed up royally in so many ways, right? And we're taking that little step like, God, I don't even know what to pray. I'm tired. I'm weary. I don't even know. Can you imagine the love of the Father? That prodigal, the story of the prodigal son, I love that. What the word of God is teaching us is the father ran towards him, put his best robe on him, put his ring on him, basically threw a party for him. That dwelling place, that secret place that we're supposed to dwell, God welcomes you with open arms. He doesn't want you running around feeling stressed out, not knowing what to do and worrying. In fact, when I hear people say they're stressed and they got all these things going on, it's almost like it's an open invitation from God to sit with them in his presence, just to sit with him a little bit. I pray you guys have been encouraged. For those who are just joining, I'm sorry I got to go. The whole premise of this is I'm challenging you all to go on a retreat. I have a retreat called The Necessary Retreat. Is automatically a part of my mentorship program offered on my site. My link is in the bio. My site is called unlockinggreatness.com. You all are so more than welcome to join. Anyone that gets in there, whether it's for personal development or for entrepreneur, everyone has access to a full 12-week retreat program. And that's part of why I went live today, because a lady put a huge message in there today saying, you don't understand how much this is really changing my life. Like, it's just changing everything. That's because we don't take time to get away and get on a retreat. But for those of you who feel like, Zia, that's not something I can do right now, I'm challenging everyone to do your own personal retreat for 15 minutes a day, okay? 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening. By the grace of God, God willing, if he has me go live again next Sunday, I'm going to ask you guys, how did it go and what was revealed to you in the spirit? And you watch how God shows up and begins to defend his integrity when you put pressure on him, when you're coming to him. So you guys, take the time to rest, okay? Take the time to dwell in that secret place with God. I love you all. I really got to go. For those of you who are just joining, I won't be able to go back through this again, but this will be saved on my Instagram and on my YouTube, I think on my Facebook page as well. And if anyone is looking to get into mentorship, I have a mentorship program at unlockinggreatness.com. The link is in my bio. As soon as you sign up in there, you can go immediately into the community and communicate with me and everybody else in the community. It's phenomenal. It automatically comes with a 12-week retreat, which is phenomenal. It's a self-paced, kind of go at your own pace retreat. And I'm actually about to meet them now in like 10 minutes. So I got to get off of this right now. Anyone that's joined, even if anyone joins today, I'll be on a Zoom call right now in about the next 10 minutes to meet you, get to know your story, and welcome you officially into the community and see what it is that you want to focus on this year, because our entire year this year is focusing on mastery, right? So I love you all. I love you. I got to run. I pray that this has been helpful. Love you, love you, love you. All right, bye-bye. Love you guys. I got to get off of this live because they're waiting on me probably already. Love you guys. 1 second here. Okay, love you guys. Gotta go. And for those of you who are in the mentorship, I'll see you guys in a minute. Even though today's session is for all of the new people that have joined this week, you guys can still join the session so we can welcome all the new members. Okay, so I'll see you guys in just a minute. All right, on the Zoom call.